Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to the next episode of the Impakt podcast. I'm Jeff Welsh, your host, and today we have Allie.
Yay!
Hey Allie, how are
Hi,
you?
good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Hey guys, I decided to bring Allie back today because I thought that it would be a good opportunity to talk about a special topic that I think that she is definitely well experienced in. And today we're going to start to talk about Facebook ads in regards to Black Friday campaigns. It's going to be a series of videos or podcast episodes here over the next several weeks because we're getting pretty close to Black Friday, believe it or not.
It's that time again already.
I know. I mean, I know it's only September 12th, guys, and Black Friday is, over 2 months away, but, before you know it, it's going to be here and we're going to be well into Christmas.
Yeah, you should be ready for it way before it even comes.
Yeah, so that's the topic of today. Today we're going to go over Black Friday ads for Facebook, specifically Facebook. I think that today would be a good opportunity for us to just do a general overview. I know that we can bring in Kaiser to talk about Google stuff in regards to Black Friday in a future episode. We go deeper into some of the ad stuff, but let's just kind of go over an overview of like what's different about Black Friday. Why is it special, and what are some of the things that we should be focused on if you're considering running ads for Black Friday?
So we like to tell all of our clients that they, especially if they're e-commerce, that they should definitely be running some kind of sale around Black Friday. It is the most competitive time during the year, and all of your competitors are going to be running Black Friday sales, so you need to have something that's going to draw in attention to get those sales for the holidays.
I just before we started recording here and before you walked in earlier, I just saw my first Black Friday ad like a half hour ago. So it's
crazy.
Crazy to think that it's this. I feel like every year it's earlier and earlier.
It definitely is, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me, and I just, as a reminder, I gauge these things based on when Halloween starts. So this year I started seeing Halloween stuff in August.
I saw it in July.
July?
Yes.
Where?
I'm trying to remember. Was it Hobby Lobby or Mike? One of those stores.
I knew you, for whatever reason, I felt like you were going to say, I think we just did a mental thing there, because I felt like you were going to say Hobby Lobby, even though we hadn't talked about this. For me, it's Lowe's.
I love Lowe's.
But anyhow, we're getting off topic there. So definitely I think it's super important to make sure that you're well prepared. I know it's not uncommon for people to come to us and be like, okay, we're ready to run Black Friday ads, and it's like the end of October. Mm-hmm. And at that point, why would it not be advantageous for us to kind of start that late in the game?
You mean the week of Black Friday?
Well, if somebody's like, I want to start thinking about Black Friday ads in the end of October.
Oh, I see. Yeah, no, we send out a reminder to all of our clients. We're actually about to do that now this week. I asked our customer love agent to start sending those messages out to tell our clients that their due date, to tell us all of their sale information, the dates it'll be running, what the products are that are going to be on sale, the discount, all of that needs to be to us no later than the last day of this month or very beginning of next month, the first week in October.
Which is not that far away.
It's not. And we've had monthly meetings with our clients, and we've been kind of mentioning it, slipping it in there. But we need to have all of that ahead of time. We at least like a month to have all of the details for each client so that our design team plus Kaiser and myself have enough time to write out the ad copy, make the ads, etc.
Well, and there's, I think, what a lot of people don't take into consideration who haven't done this as much in the past is that, it takes time on our end to generate the creative too. Like we have a really, small team, creative team, and the stuff stacks up, right? So it's not like we can bang it all out at the same time.
Right.
It does take some time. So, I mean, there's definitely that aspect of it, like making sure that you have stuff well in advance so we can create the most effective content possible for your campaigns.
Absolutely. And you want to make sure that your ads are super good quality to draw in attention, because people are seeing so many Black Friday ads. You want to make sure that yours stands out. So we like to have an ample amount of time to really give our best effort.
So let's talk a little bit about being prepared. So let's say a client comes to us and they're giving us their assets and their concepts and the things that they want to promote at the end of this month, October 1st range. Like like that really gives us probably 7 to not quite 8 weeks before Black Friday actually hits. Why are we running ads like that far out in advance?
Some of our clients do kind of, they're set on just launching Black Friday through that weekend. Some give us the full week of Thanksgiving, but we really recommend to start November 1st to maximize it, because if you think about it, this is when consumers are making the most amount of purchases. So you really want to capitalize on that and get your ads out there early so that people are seeing it, because then hopefully by the second time with our retargeting campaigns, they're like, okay, you know what, it is a good deal. I'll give in.
And I think too, just like any other campaign, I mean, really there's not a ton of difference between Black Friday and the rest of the year, but like the longer you have the algorithm kind of learning phase, the better and more effective it's going to be, right, to actually run those ads.
Absolutely. Yeah, it takes a few days for things to pick up typically. I mean, you'll definitely generate purchases, but once, Facebook has time to really get things going and figure out where it's pushing your ads and which ones are working better, that's how you'll maximize it.
That's that's really important to make sure that you've got ample amount of time to prep and maximize the algorithm. But also too, like sometimes like concepts or creative doesn't work. And if you're starting at the beginning of November, and I'm not saying that because, I mean, just like you just don't know. Maybe the product's not popular. Maybe you want to have time to make an adjustment. I mean, having that ample time also gives us a chance to have 4 weeks left maybe to like change up completely if need be.
And a lot of times, maybe people are seeing it and they're like, you know what, this discount really isn't as great as other companies are doing with the same product. So we might have to be like, hey, maybe we could try giving a bigger discount, because I can sort of tell right off the bat if I think that my client's giving a good discount, but I might have it in my back pocket. Like, if things aren't working, that might be something we can adjust if they're comfortable with it. But also, we have clients who will run a pre-Black Friday sale during the 1st through, the week before Thanksgiving, and then run an actual Black Friday sale, which is a higher discount.
So, pre-Black Friday sale.
Yes.
As I think about that and say it slowly. Tell us a little bit more. So, like, why would you run, like, let's just say, client is so-and-so wants to run an ad, a promotion for a widget, and they only want to give 5% off or something. Ideally, we're thinking, well, that's probably not enough of an incentive to get people to actually purchase. So we talk them into actually doing 10%, whatever. But like, maybe there's like an ideal product that a client has where they know that their profit margin is going to be like the best for them. And rather than just focused on that one thing, do we focus on in a pre-sale like on another product or that same product? Like what have we done in the past, or do you recommend?
A lot of times they do just like a site-wide sale, but that is a good idea. Maybe if they have one of their like less popular products, they could do it then, or wait to do that for the bigger sale. There's a lot of things you could do there, that's a good idea too. But a lot of times they do just do a full site-wide sale to get those people who may not be seeing other sale ads yet so early on for November 1st. So that's still getting purchases, but maybe not making the client lose as much because it's not as big of a sale in a sense.
Yeah, I think in some regards too, like I'm just totally like, I mean, obviously I don't understand it as well as you do because it's what you do every day. But like, for example, for me, if I had an e-commerce store and I was running a promotion for a product and was only giving a 5 or 8% discount on a product, even if nobody buys, it's brand awareness, right? Like
Absolutely.
They're getting awareness up front in the pre-sale. But if they do buy, at least you've got some sales already. And you never know, like just like any other sale in the world too, like when somebody adds that item to cart, they might add something else too. I mean, I do that stuff all day long.
Oh,
I might
yeah.
go on Amazon for one thing. Next thing you know, I got 3 things in the cart and a couple hidden things for my daughter.
I have an ongoing cart. I mean, I may not pull the trigger, but I definitely have things always in my cart. But that is a good point too, though, because it is getting brand awareness. And say you're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram and you see like a 10% off discount. It's not as enticing as maybe their 25 that'll be later on. But it's still making you stop and look at it because it is a discount ad. So then, when you see it again later, it's 25. You're like, all right, this is the best it's going to be. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times it's just a matter of replicating. For me, I mean, just like anything else in the world, right? Like if you're looking at what Amazon's doing or another big manufacturer, not necessarily, I can't say Apple because they don't do discounts like that, but another manufacturer of a specific product, if they're doing something where they're doing multiple discounts over time to generate volume into the site, then maybe it's just as simple as replicating somebody else in your industry.
Yeah, that's true.
So, all right. So we've talked about pre-sale. We've talked about actual Black Friday sales. Like, let's talk a little bit about budgeting. Like, is there any, like, what do we recommend? Is there any difference between like running Black Friday sales as opposed to whatever promotion we're running the remainder of the year? What do you recommend?
So we typically, and again, depending on the client's comfort with this, because that we do have larger clients and smaller clients, we have a big variety, but especially for our larger clients, we like to keep the campaigns that are already running, don't touch those, but then build out a separate Black Friday campaign. So then we allocate a specific budget that they allow us to use for that, and we meet with them and determine what they're okay with. But if it's a client we've had from the past, they typically are like, yeah, just use what we used last year. But then we can use that data from that Black Friday campaign to do it even better this year. And another thing that I thought of when we were talking earlier is that Black Friday, in a sense, also gives us a lot of ammo and data to use for the other upcoming holidays, such as Cyber Monday. Then there's also Christmas holiday ads, so we can use that data for retargeting those people again in the future.
So when you say ammo for upcoming, like from previous Black Fridays or upcoming Cyber Mondays, are you talking about like essentially the results and the data that we've collected from previous campaigns?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. That's something I hadn't really thought of. And actually you said something too that I never really thought of as well. So do we have or is it common for us to be running just our normal ads for our clients that we have year round and them running additional ads for Black Friday, or are we just running like just Black Friday ads?
It does depend on the client, because like the bigger clients, they have more budget for us to work with. But if it's a smaller client, they only have so much. I'll just turn off their normal ads and then add in Black Friday ones, because I really want to maximize that sale with the budget I have to get the most bang for them. So yeah, it does depend on the client.
I think it ultimately depends on their ad budget, because I mean, what would you say, like, you don't have to say the client's name, but like pick a random client in your head. How many ad campaigns are we running for that client this month? Just at a guesstimate.
One that comes to mind they have a lot of products, but they have different categories. So theirs I have set up based on that category so that I can target interest based off of that specific category. So that one has, I'd say, like at least 6.
6 campaigns. So there's
but
a lot
that's a big one.
So there's a lot of strategy here. Like
Yes.
You're running various things for various purposes to increase the data so you can actually have results on the tail end.
Yeah. Smaller ones, though, we always have, if they are in the e-commerce business, we would have a conversion/outreach campaign along with a retargeting one. So they always will have 2.
So that's interesting. So I'm thinking about a specific client. I'm going to mentally transfer this client to your head, but don't look at my screen. So there's a client where we had some incredible results this week for, and we actually spoke about it. But essentially, they gotta. You hear us talk about ROAS a lot, right? It's our North Star. We focus on the return on ad spend. This specific client in 14 days, let's just say I think it was last week and the previous 7, got an 11, almost 12, Allie, because she said round up. So almost
fine.
a 12x return on ad spend.
11.8.
But I have 11 here. So they spent $3,000 and we returned them $37,000 in sales from their actual campaign. Is that when we're having that type of success? I'm just curious, if we're having that type of success with a client throughout the year, can we kind of predict the type of results that we possibly would be getting for Black Friday?
It's hard to know exactly, but normally, if a client's at an 11, I would expect them to be higher for Black Friday, depending on the sale they offer too, because some clients are very adamant about not giving much of a sale. We even have one client who every year refuses to do a Black Friday sale, so that's where it's kind of a toss-up. But typically, yes, they should be a couple points above that ROAS or percentage.
So if your gut feeling for the client of which we not speak,
right, who must not be named,
who may or may not be on my screen right now, but if your gut feeling is we're going to get good results for them, then if you kind of collaboratively work well with the client, in theory, if you know that you're doing an 11x ROAS right now, and we're coming up to Black Friday season, if they're able to increase their budget based on the results we've done for them all year long, including the slow season, wouldn't it make a lot of sense if the client is only spending about $2,000 in ad spend a month, to I don't like that word, to persuade them to up that to about $4,000 a month?
Yeah. Even if I can get 3,000, know, but definitely, that's something that we can bring up in our strategy calls this month that we have. And this client, they're pretty easygoing about trusting us with spend now, which is good. Newer ones, we have to kind of build their trust, which is understandable. But the ones who have been around for a couple years and get great results, they understand. We even have one client who, I won't say who they are, but their product is seasonal, which means it does better during fall and winter. So we pull back during the summer, but now with Black Friday coming up, she knows we're going to be maximizing her spend, and she lets us continuously add budget. And then, if we see the ROAS might be dipping a little bit, we'll pull back and adjust for her. But that's where we are okay, this is your season, it's go time.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me. I wish, if this specific result I'm looking at right now, I spent $3,000, we generated $37,000. I'd almost be willing to borrow $6,000 more dollars.
Oh yeah.
To dump into a campaign to triple that, right? Think about
it's
that.
Fast. That's in a month.
Think about that.
Or was that 14 days?
This was 14 days, what you gave me the other day.
Yeah, 2 weeks to make that in 2
weeks. Spent $3,000, made $37,000. That's an 11x ROAS. Just imagine if you were able to spend triple that. So that would be spend that'd be $100,000. It's like a gold mine, right?
I know. Yeah.
Anyhow, I mean, I just think I like just, in theory, thinking about these things. I mean, it's the hottest time of the year, right? Everybody's spending money because of the holidays. From a business perspective, to me, it just makes a ton of sense to double and triple down if you can.
Absolutely. But even with this specific client, their production time and with the amount of staff they have, we're kind of doing too well in a sense, which is a great problem to have.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we have a handful of those. There's another client that refused. I don't even remember who they are, but I know that there was a client that refused. We're doing so well on, at this point I'm forgetting whether it's Google or Facebook, but we're doing so well on one channel.
It's them.
It's the same people.
Facebook, yeah.
They will not allow us to
do
Google, which honestly there are times, and depending on the client, we do better on the Google side than we do on the Facebook side.
Yep.
That sounds like and that sounds like a production problem to me.
It is.
So, I mean, in theory, right? Like maybe you run ads and you're like, hey, just want to let you know this is our busy time of year. Please be patient with us as we, get your ads in by this date to ensure that you actually get it. And then when you double or triple down, then you take that money and reinvest it into production so you can provide more and do more. You're starting to see the business side of me.
It's true though. I mean, it's all valid.
Sorry.
But no, it's fine. Another thing I will say though before I forget is, increasing ad spend is so important that actually with a different client, they were doing significantly higher on Google than on Facebook. It was like 2 times more, I believe. And we were trying to figure out, why is Google performing so much better than Facebook? Well, their spend was actually like triple what they were spending on Facebook. So it was kind of a no-brainer there. But it took us a minute to realize, and we're going to have that conversation down the road to see if they want to increase Facebook, because the Facebook ROAS was still really good, but they could be gaining even more purchases if they increase their spend.
I mean, sometimes it's the obvious too, right? It's right in front of you. I've been involved in creative for 3 decades, from photography on film and print design to what we do today. And I know from experience that we get so into the work and focused on one aspect of it. Sometimes it's the thing that's right in front of your face that's obvious that can make all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
All right, so we talked a little bit about budget planning and how to kind of expand that or spread it out, whatever makes the most sense for the client. Let's talk about ad visual tips next.
Okay, so when it comes to Black Friday ads, when you think about it, that is the most saturated time of year. There's going to be a ridiculous amount of ads. I mean, people already feel like there's a lot of ads. Well, Black Friday season, everyone knows, mentally prepare. You're going to be spammed. I say that, and that's what I do for work. But you're going to be seeing a lot of ads. Well, that's when you really need your business to stand out more than all the others, because people are just quickly scrolling. So you want your ad to be super visually eye-catching, and the sale, I always recommend for my clients, okay, say for example they have a 25% off discount. That needs to be big. That needs to be whether it's in the corner, right in the middle, have that in big text so that they see that quickly, and they're like, oh, that's a good sale. And then they're intrigued to click on it and look at your website.
I think you put out a good point there. People are scrolling, just flipping through, and I try not to, but it's still we all fall default. That's just part of the way that we're programmed these days. But you've only got a few seconds to catch people's attention, literally. So this is a weird ad. I need to show this ad to you. I know you probably haven't seen it, but I'm going to try to visually describe it with words. So Alex Hormozy, who some of you may or may not know, he's very, very big in the advertising world these days, has a education platform called school.com, okay? And it's basically a tool that allows you to build programs and promote your products or service, business building stuff. I immediately thought of this ad that caught my attention when I was scrolling through the other day. So it's promoting this school.com platform, but I flipped through and all of a sudden I saw this. I don't know if it was a donkey or a horse. You're going to laugh now, all right? I don't know if it was a donkey or horse. I don't remember, but it was this 4-legged large animal that rolled over and fell out of a pickup truck.
Wow.
Okay. It was 1 second of that. So that caught my attention.
Yes.
And then the next second was Alex Hormozy rolling over and flipping out of a truck. And then he hopped up and then started talking about school. In 2 to 3 seconds, they had my attention. I was like, oh, that is really funny. That's really funny. And I know that sounds ridiculous.
No.
But in a lot of ways, it's brilliant. So I saw this happen, and now every time I'm seeing ads from him, they're doing some weird thing. Think about it.
That's the trend now, actually. It's a good point you brought up. There's a lot of companies doing
trends?
that. Yeah, you are, because there's a lot of companies doing that now, actually.
They're probably following his lead, because they have this event called the School Games. And so it's every month it's a competition to see who can build up a business from nothing in just 30 days. And they kind of promote it as if it's a competition like the Olympics and online gaming type of thing. It's kind of funny. So that when you see these things these little snippets and clips of like something really weird happening, and then him as a human doing the same thing. Now I'm seeing other actions that catch my attention because I was like, oh, well, he did the donkey thing the last time.
Yep.
What is he going to do this time? So I don't know. That sounds really weird, guys. And unless you actually
No,
see
it's actually
Josh,
a huge.
put that on the screen right here. I'm going to show you the ad. I want you to show this example to everybody. This is a really good example.
It is a good example, and actually, it's interesting you brought that up because I'm friends with a couple of beauty professional businesses around the area, and they're coming up with ways to incorporate that trend into their social platforms. Like, there's the Best of Morgantown. It's kind of it's like an awards thing, and everyone wants to be the best in their category around town. So one girl was like, oh, I might do a rolling into, like, it's the same kind of thing, and then showing the product or doing something funny, but you get those first couple of seconds to get someone's attention. So that's why having a super visually pleasing graphic or a video like Jeff was mentioning to really grab them.
Anyhow, I thought you'd appreciate that. And I'm really excited now for Josh to put that in here to give, because that's a really good example for you guys. So you got to, I mean, it's advertising, right? In creative, we have to think outside of the box a lot of times.
Definitely.
And as uncomfortable and awkward, not everybody is comfortable with doing stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it's all about it. We're buying people's attention, really.
You're competing against a
Millions,
ridiculous amount of people and businesses, so how are you going to stand out?
All right, so figuring out different ways to stand out amongst the masses. Next, retargeting post-sale. What exactly are we going to do here when we're talking about retargeting post-sales?
So we did touch on that earlier, but when you think about it, we're getting all of this data from the Black Friday ads and the campaigns.
Okay.
So we're going to use that to, in a sense, do an even better job, not better, but to use that momentum and what we're learning to push for Christmas ads, because Black Friday is the biggest selling season of the year, but you still have Christmas time, you still have a little bit of leadway there before it's Christmas and people are done buying for a little while, because January is always dead. But around Christmas time, like early December, people are still buying heavily, so that's when you can think, okay, I might not be able to run as big of a sale right now, but what ads, what style, what targeting was working?
Yeah, it made me think about slow season for that client too. Like, I mean, things are going to ramp up drastically in October, November, and December. Last quarter of the year, every year, happens every single time. Just like retail, it's the biggest time of the year when it comes to sales. One thing that we try to recommend to our clients now too is that don't, just because January is coming and not as many people are going to be buying because they've pretty much blown their budget for the next 3 months.
Yeah.
Don't just stop altogether, because I think that we can use some retargeting data to kind of just do brand awareness. Even if you have to scale back your ad spend, by all means do so.
Yeah.
But I think we've learned a valuable lesson with that over the years, and we showed that to one of our clients this year.
Absolutely. Like the seasonal client I mentioned earlier, their prime time is still during the colder months, but for a lot of our other clients in January, we meet with them, after Christmas, once, everything's died down a bit, and then we ask, okay, there's obviously a dip here, are you okay with us pulling back spend and how much? And we finalize that with them. But yeah, most times we have to pull back spend because we don't want to just throw money at a wall. We want our clients to succeed, and it's inevitable that things are going to drop after that.
But just like I've talked so much in the past too, it's just the quickest thing for me to compare it to. It's kind of like the stock market, right? Like, you're going to have periods where it's up and down. Mm-hmm. But as long as the continued trend over time is up, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, and you still will get some of those, people who maybe buy after Christmas because they're they got some Christmas money, or they didn't get they were wanting something specifically, so they go for it. But there is always, every single year, a significant dip, and our clients are always prepared for that. That's just what happens with, business during this time of year.
What else? What else is there that we can go over for Black Friday Facebook as far as overview goes? Like, is there anything that we're missing that you can think of?
Well, I do want to mention that, some clients do ask, when we're onboarding them, they'll say, is Facebook still relevant? Like, why should we use Facebook? Should we just go with Google? I promise you, Facebook is still super relevant. There's actually 2.9 billion monthly active visitors, or users, sorry. And when you think about that, Facebook is so smart that, it's so great at targeting people's interests, their demographics, and it's really making sure that your Black Friday sale ads are hitting the right people. You're not just throwing it at someone who might not be interested in your product. So it's definitely one of, if not the best platform to be running sale ads on.
I think it's important to remember too, like we've talked in the past about omnipresence and being on multiple channels too. So like remember, like for a lot of our bigger clients that have been around for a long time and we do a lot of work for, we're dealing with multiple channels here. Like Facebook is only one part of the equation. Mm-hmm. There's Google PPC, there's email marketing, SMS, there's a whole plethora of things that we can do for people. It's just one snippet. So like when we talk about those results earlier about, well, that specific client is just Facebook ads.
Yeah.
But we have some doing equal to that and more, but that's just in that one channel.
Yeah. I say clients should definitely be using both Facebook and absolutely Google. Google is a no-brainer too. And then email, some of our clients use our email marketing services, and that's literally hitting people who are on your email list. So then you are sending them that sale directly to their inbox. So that's generating a lot of traffic there too.
It's all about the volume of traffic.
It is.
Well, cool. I can't really think of anything else. I think that this has been really a good kind of overview. I know some of it might be sound like it's similar to things of the past, but there are some different rules and different tips that we can do for our clients this time of year. I mean, it's just really about being super prepared. I mean, we've gone over things about how early you need to start to be prepared for your Black Friday stuff. We'd like to actually get the details from our client so that we can make sure that we get the production side of things done and started early. Budget planning as well, retargeting, ad visual tips, post-sale stuff. Like all of these things are relevant and important aspects of your Black Friday campaigns, and it's really important to make sure that we get that stuff dialed in so that we can get the best possible results. So
one thing I did think of, sorry.
You got something else.
I did.
Plus this is your bonus.
This is the bonus. So not only is Black Friday a great time to get those sales out there and to really maximize getting extra sales, but it's really good for customer retention because you're hitting a lot of new customers as well along with the retargeting. So people are going to be more inclined to click on your ad when they do see a significant sale. So then, maybe they buy something now and then down the road, they're like, wow, that brand had really nice quality products, and I was also interested in something else. So then that'll make them think of you, and you'll be top of mind for them to return back to.
Yeah, that's a super important tip there as well. Cool. All right. Well, I think that's a good amount of information for today's episode.
Definitely.
I think that it was super helpful. I'm excited about this series because actually I don't think we've done a series. I feel like I'm giving sermons now, right? Like
yes.
sermons on advertising.
It's good to have a series. Yeah, I like it.
I think that's kind of our new. We had talked about that with the team yesterday about doing kind of themed based stuff. So good stuff on Facebook ads today. Next week, I think we'll focus on bringing Kaiser back into the equation, or Mike. I don't know which one. Honestly, I haven't really decided.
Either will be super beneficial.
Will be super helpful. They've both been on before. We can talk about Google PPC or maybe web stuff. It just depends on which one's available next week. But regardless, we'll continue with this topic and just continue through the season. Get you guys prepped and ready as best as possible. So. If you guys are interested in finding more information about what we can do for you here at Impakt, or you just kind of want to like bounce some ideas off of us to see where we might be beneficial or some of the things that you are doing, by all means, go to thinkimpact.com, the URL here on the screen. Our business development team would love to have some conversations with you, just to see how we could possibly help, see where you're at. Maybe you're not quite there yet for our ideal client as far as like sales volume where we're most effective. So we're always all about just kind of giving you the best input we can to get you to that point so we can help you scale, because that's what we're best at here at Impakt. So
yeah, send us a DM on our Instagram.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Promote the
Yeah, we have
Instagram. Allie.
our Instagram is called, I believe it's Impakt. Yes, it's Impakt_results. Yeah, and you can just follow along with us, but also send us a DM with any questions, even if it's something that feels super random to you. It's not to us. We love to talk about it. This is our passion. So yeah, just shoot us a quick
Awesome.
message.
Yeah, that's been Allie's taking that over and getting that back to life here in the past couple of weeks. So
it's coming back.
All right, guys, thanks a lot for joining us for this episode of the Impakt Podcast, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.